Conference 101. We kindly ask that all questions be submitted through the Q&A feature. A recording of the event will be emailed afterwards. We appreciate your participation and we look forward to an engaging and informative discussion. I'm going to turn it over to Erin Lee, our Vice President of Marketing, Strategy, and Growth.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm thrilled to be speaking with you today. This is our first official webinar around the 2025 MedTech Conference that is in a little over 70 days in San Diego. Our theme this year is MedTech Redefines the Future of Healthcare. We really believe that this is an awesome umbrella for all the exciting work that we are doing every day to help patients and help the healthcare industry and really in transforming lives. So let's dive in. So quick agenda recap. We will go through our speakers that are going to be joining me today. We'll give you some overview of who you're going to meet at the MedTech Conference from an attendee perspective, company perspective, and some of the titles that you'll meet. And then, of course, we'll go through the MedTech campus and give you some highlights around what's new and hopefully give you a lay of the land so you have your bearings when you arrive to San Diego. And then we'll go through small company perspective and what our preview of investor activity looks like. And then we'll be joined by one of our amazing committee members, Juliana, for a quick Q&A. She's got some real world experience at the MedTech Conference as a CEO and as a small company. So she'll provide some insights for you there. And then we'll move on to an education overview with some speaker highlights, a networking overview. We have announced a lot in the last few weeks, and Nancy's going to give you a kind of overview of what you need to look for online and what you should be excited about when you arrive to San Diego. And I'll save the best for last. We have an attendee preview towards the end. I'll give you real titles and companies of folks that have already registered for the conference. And then, of course, we want to make sure you walk away with tools you can use so you can make an informed and educated decision to attend and you really arrive with a plan. I'm Erin Lee. I'm Vice President of Marketing, Strategy, and Growth for AdvaMed and the MedTech Conference. This will be my third time hosting the MedTech Conference and working on the MedTech Conference, but I've done a lot of events in San Diego with our California partners, and we're so thrilled to be back there. Today, I'll be joined by Beth Perkins, our Senior Director of Business Development and Investor Strategy, Nancy Creel, our Senior Director of Education and Industry Programs, and then, of course, Juliana Elstad, CEO of Vibrato Medical. So thank you again for everyone joining us, and we hope this is valuable and informational. And then, of course, we are going to cover a lot, but we encourage you to ask questions, and we'll take those towards the end. So first, a little bit about AdvaMed. I'm very proud to be sitting here in Washington, D.C. With a number of my peers who work tirelessly for the MedTech industry year-round. We are the host of the MedTech Conference, and we've been around for 50 years, really dedicated to policy efforts here on Capitol Hill and around the world. And we represent over 600 MedTech companies from the small to the very large.
Erin, I'm sorry to jump in. We're just
Sure.
seeing the first slide and not in presentation mode. So I think try to reshare. No problem.
Give me 1 second. There we go.
I didn't want to interrupt your wonderful flow.
All right. Are you seeing the AdvaMed slide?
Yes, we're great now. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Okay, well, thank you. Yes, so a little bit about AdvaMed. We represent over 600 members, again, the small and the large, that you'll see a lot of them both on stage throughout the MedTech campus and then throughout our education program. We couldn't do what we do without our members and the amazing AdvaMed staff. You'll hear a little bit more about them as many of them are also speaking at the MedTech Conference. So we wanted to take a moment to thank our sponsors. Many of them are also AdvaMed members. And again, they're very active at the conference. Within our program, you'll hear some of the CEOs from these companies speaking in our patient pavilion and our CEOs Unplugged. And then again, a lot of the service providers who work with a lot of our member companies who really make this event happen. And we're so grateful for their support. And while I have a couple of them mentioned here, I would be remiss to say that there are many other ones that you will see and meet throughout the conference in October. So as far as the breadth and depth and the timeliness of this event, we really design it with you in mind. And we couldn't do that without a host of committees, from our steering committee to our host and local committee to our program committee. They're really comprised of MedTech experts who are working actively in the field and who are passionate about what we need to serve the industry at a very critical time. So as far as who attends the conference and why you should attend the conference, you really think about the conference in 4 components. It's really the quality of the attendees and the access that you get to the MedTech industry and the MedTech community. There really is something for everyone, but we really do pride ourselves in attracting MedTech CEOs. When everything's said and done, we are expecting more than 1,000 MedTech CEOs. Separate from that, we offer a really robust and comprehensive education program that we'll walk you through. And it's in a number of formats, taking stage within the MedTech campus, panel sessions, and in our session rooms. We have the big stage with our keynotes. So Nancy will walk you through what that looks like. And we do offer a really vast program of company presentations in a couple of different formats that we'll share with you. And beyond that, we've really seen business development at our event on the rise in a couple of different ways. But really, we'll share with you the best way to connect in a meaningful way, in an efficient way, is through our partnering system called My MedTech. And then as far as who's attending from a company perspective, when everything's said and done, we are expecting close to 1,800 companies. Again, it's the small companies to the large companies showcasing their technology. So in thinking about our event, truly global, we offer comprehensive MedTech education that's timely and diverse when it comes to perspectives. It's very much cross-cutting. So we want to make sure that if we have a recommendation for you, it's do your research around where you need to be and when to make sure it's a valuable experience for you. And then as far as investment, you'll see investors there. You'll see a lot of MedTech companies talking about what's in their portfolio, who they're looking to meet. And then, of course, a lot of what we do every day is around patient solutions. So you're going to hear those stories both on the keynote main stage, but then within the MedTech campus and then throughout our education program. And we are proud to host dozens of universities, tech transfer offices from both across the US and some international that really showcase what's next in MedTech. So as far as who attends, I did talk about that C-suite. We really do pride ourselves that more than 40% of our attendees are VP or C-level. We are expecting more than 35 countries to be represented. And really, you can look here around the job functions and the industry sectors that we represent. We have more than 25. So as far as breaking down our event into personas, we want to make sure we have something for everyone and that you arrive with an agenda in hand. So we offer comprehensive programming for startups and early stage companies and for our Excel members. So Beth will talk through a little bit of that for you. We have stages dedicated to our service providers. You'll see and meet them within the MedTech campus. We offer specialty programming and education for our hospital buyer community who are walking the floor. And then, of course, a number of programs dedicated to how to commercialize. If you're looking to commercialize your product within the US, we have a dedicated program on Sunday for that. We also have a global program that we'll walk you through. And then, of course, our manufacturers, strategics, investors. So this is just a sampling of the kinds of people that you'll meet and see in San Diego. So I love a testimonial direct from some of our CEOs and CFOs. It's great to see people like Kevin Lobo, who's a fierce supporter of the conference. So we have a number of these testimonials in our videos and online. So I encourage you to spend some time there to see what people are saying about the event. So as far as the format, if you had the pleasure of joining us last time, we were in California, which was 2 years ago. The format is much of the same. We are encouraging everybody to arrive Sunday, October 5th. And we have an awesome global program and a new startup pitch competition that kicks everything off in the afternoon, as well as a global welcome reception on Sunday night. And then Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday really are action-packed days where it starts early in the morning with both education. The MedTech campus opens. That's where you'll be able to meet with exhibitors. And then we have keynote luncheons both Monday and Tuesday. And then we have a keynote breakfast on Wednesday. But all this to say, we have tools to help you navigate it, to make it easy on you. So you can browse the schedule right now. And you can, once you register, everyone will have an automatic profile that's activated for you to make it easy. And we do have another webinar that will go into detail about how to make an efficient plan for when you arrive in San Diego. But we did want to recommend some feedback we've been getting is when should I plan, dinners with my colleagues, with my clients? We recommend that you do that on Monday evening. We do have receptions every evening or afternoon in the hall, but after that, you'll have some time to do that. All right, so I will kick things off with a quick MedTech campus preview, and then I will kick it over to Beth to sample some more information for small companies. So I know I mentioned our sponsors, but we're really proud to have a lot of these companies very active within our conference. Companies like GE Healthcare, Google, Dexcom, Philips, and Microsoft. Some are taking the main stage on our keynote that will give you some, actually it's really the first time we're sharing that information today. So you guys are true insiders. So thanks for joining us. But we really are excited to have these powerhouse companies, both big tech and med tech, and all the variety of partners that serve the ecosystem that's known as MedTech joining us. Okay, so I love a visual. This is our MedTech campus. So we are taking up 3 halls at the San Diego Convention Center, where you can see our Tech in Motion hub is front and center. So the green areas, for the most part, are stages that you will find schedules within our online schedule at a glance. So you want to make sure to familiarize yourself with those. So we will be walking you through each of these areas, but I will go quickly. Our Innovation Pavilion is really a dedicated showcase for small companies, and that's going to be both demos and company presentations. We have some options for you this year for lunch. You'll see on the left-hand side, it's the keynote lunch, and on the right-hand side, it's a networking lunch. That's new this year. We're going to give you options. If you'd like to sit in the room and hear directly from the main stage, you can do that. But you also have the option to grab lunch, sit with a colleague or a client, somebody you want to do business with, have lunch. We wanted to give you that option this year. I will note that that is for full conference registrants only. And then working our way towards the patient pavilion, that's dedicated this year. We wanted to make sure we offer you more patient stories. The back of the hall is the partnering area. That is dedicated activity where you'll have one-to-one meetings scheduled in that space. And then Nancy will walk you through some highlights to our CEOs Unplugged stage. I will give you an overview, I think, next on our next gen MedTech headquarters space, a little revamp there, but we really want to make sure that we are committed both to people currently actively working in the MedTech space, but also really designing with intention to get people wanting to work in the MedTech space. So this is an awesome program that we curate for students looking to work in MedTech. And then we partner with MedTech Innovator every year. And then this is their stage where you'll see 60 companies all week long before they have their finalist competition. And then, of course, our solutions showcase. And that's where you're going to see some really neat presentations from our service providers and some partners. And then in the center of the hall, that's going to be the AdvaMed booth, where we're going to celebrate 50 years as an organization. That will also be our Tech in Motion hub, where you will see some of our biggest members and some cool technology being showcased. Okay, So I did mention what's available for next generation MedTech. Right now, anybody that you know that might be new to the industry or a student has the ability to apply and really register to attend at a really great rate. We are working closely with dozens of universities who are not listed here. So just encourage them to go on and apply if they're interested, and a little bit of qualification, and then they are welcome to come to the conference. I will note that it is absolutely not a career fair. It's really a learning event and a networking event to see the breadth and depth of the MedTech industry. So I mentioned a little bit about our Tech in Motion Hub. This is a really cool area that we launched last year that we are bringing back. We're so proud to have GE Healthcare sponsor the space, and excited to see companies like BD, ResMed, Solventum, and Hologic having a home base there in that space, and we'll continue to announce companies in that area. And with that, I will pass it over to Beth to give you a preview of partnering and a couple other things.
Sure. So Erin mentioned on her map at the back of the hall is our dedicated partnering area. So that's where many of our sponsors have suites, dedicated rooms, and then we have an area of about 75 to 100 tables where partnering meetings can take place. So we will be launching our conference app in mid-August. It also includes a partnering component. It's really the best way to see who's attending. The full attendee list is really the best way to see it through My MedTech. You can look up other attendees, you can send meeting requests, and then through the system, you have the ability to select the date and the time, and then pick a table for your meeting. And these happen on site. We will have partnering meetings all day Monday, all day Tuesday, and then until noon on Wednesday. But again, this will open in mid-August. We'll do another webinar, like Erin mentioned, specifically about My MedTech and how to make the best use of it at the conference. You can go to the next slide. So yeah, Erin also mentioned we're going to chat a bit about small companies and what the conference offers them. So we do have a number of opportunities. There's another great testimonial here from one of our CEO small companies. And then you can go ahead to the next slide, Erin, and we'll get into a few ways for visibility for small companies. We do still have these applications open. So in the MedTech campus is our Innovation Pavilion. It's going to have a number, about 25 kiosks. There's a picture of it here, where small companies and startups that may want a home in the exhibit hall, they may want to exhibit their technology, but they might not have the budget to take down a 10 by 10 booth and build it out and so on. So we provide a very turnkey solution where we do all this for you. You give us your artwork, and then you have a place to display your technology, marketing materials. Some of the exhibitors, you do presentation screens and show a presentation. So you do have some options here. And then also within the Innovation Pavilion, we have a stage where we'll have company presentations. These are scheduled back to back every 10 minutes. So they're about 9-minute pitches, podium presentations, there's slides, pitch decks. And we are still taking applications for both of these opportunities. You can apply for both exhibit and company presentation, or one or the other. And I'm happy to chat with you about what best meets your needs. I will say we're getting very limited on company presentations. I expect we're going to fill up there probably in the next week or two. So you can go ahead. Erin also mentioned MedTech Innovator. Their stage was in the bottom right of our MedTech campus. So they are a group, an accelerator group that we have a partnership with. They select 65 companies for this year's cohort, and they do a number of wonderful programs with them. But part of that involves bringing them to our conference. They'll have a stage in the exhibit hall where they will present their technologies and their products. And then the top 5 companies will present on our keynote stage on Tuesday afternoon in their MTI finals. It's a really fun event. It's an audience vote. It's kind of like a Shark Tank, American Idol type combination, but it's a really fun event. So we just wanted to highlight these are some of the great small companies that we have attending the MedTech conference. So who do small companies want to meet? Investors. So we do, as Erin mentioned, we have seen the business development investor component of our conference growing over the past several years. This is just a sampling of some of the investors that we'll have in attendance this year. A lot of them will be on stage speaking. We encourage you to attend those sessions, look them up in the partnering system to try to schedule meetings with them. I would say most of our investors are on the private side, so you'll see a lot of angel investors and VCs, and we will keep pushing to get as many investors registered as possible. Another interesting or another group that's very popular to the small companies is our corporate reverse pitch presentations. This is the 4th year that we've had these on the program. So this is where you can hear from a lot of the mid-sized to large companies, their corporate and business development strategic teams, about what they're working on, how early is too early to approach them, for example, how to approach them. A lot of those questions that small companies won't answer. Will be scheduled mostly on Monday and Tuesday of the conference. We usually end up with about 20 or so of these presentations, and this is who we got locked in for this year, and we'll continue to add to that over the next few weeks. And so we thought it would be helpful to for y'all to hear from a small company CEO. And this is Juliana Elstad. We introduced her at the top of the hour, but she is an AdvaMed Excel board member, an AdvaMed board member, and she has attended the conference many times. So thank you so much for joining us, Juliana.
Thank you for having me. And I'd like to make sure, open it for questions for attendees, but I think just in a brief, the MedTech Conference is the largest MedTech event of any conferences. And, it's hard to not be impressed by all the things that are happening and sometimes could be overwhelming. I think from innovative business standpoint, the things that stand out about the MedTech Conference specifically is the concentration of the CEOs of large companies. So as a small company, it's inevitable that you think either about being acquired or collaborating on distribution agreement or whatever with large companies. And very often, it's very difficult to get enough attention from large companies. The feedback that at the MedTech Conference that we continuously get is how approachable those CEOs are. Because if they're on the panel, if they're on CEO Unplugged stage, right, after that, they usually stay for a few minutes to answer questions one-on-one. This is a great opportunity to get to know those key strategic decision makers and have access to them and maybe introduce your company. And that goes also to the reverse corporate pitches that Beth just mentioned. Sometimes small companies sit and think, okay, should I even approach this company? Should I not? What are they interested in? This is the reverse pitches is when big companies come and say, this is what we are looking for. These are the technologies we're interested. And you can ask them questions regarding the stage, how early, how late they're interested, and so on. And then investors is another important area, having some well-known MedTech investors, Arboretum, Deerfield, Vinsana, and many, many others that are confirmed will be there. These are the key MedTech VCs in the field as well. And last but not least, I personally always like hearing directly from FDA. FDA usually, as a small company, you have your reviewer at FDA and you interact with them, and it's very, scripted and kind of formal things. And there are many things that your reviewer cannot say, or, it's focused on specific task. Here at the conference, you can hear from the head of FDA, what is going on, and that can help you understand how FDA thinks about your technology, your application, your regulatory process. I'm going to stop. I don't know if there are any questions I can answer. I'll be happy to.
I think that was super helpful. Juliana, I know that we are fresh off of our California roadshow. Is there any kind of input you'd like to share from that meeting you had? I think it was last week or the week before.
So we did, so first of all, thank you, AdvaMed, for bringing your 50th anniversary to Southern California. It makes all of us here in SoCal feel very special. And so we had a few meetings kind of before the conference of CEOs in the area to talk about the conference. And that helps building the community and having those open, frank conversation. And while there are like big company CEOs, like ResMed and Edwards and many others, the majority are smaller companies CEOs, and having a conversation about the issues. And sometimes the issues could be similar and sometimes they could be different. It could be like, how do you get the top talent, right? That's an issue for small companies and big companies. But innovation is a big topic, even for big companies nowadays, because of their valuations and their PE multiples that they need to get. They now realize that, yes, they kind of need to look for some innovation, right? And how they think about it, how they approach it. I think that's very good, very helpful.
Yeah, I think we have one question and then I think we'll jump to the next section. I like this question, Teresa. So what would you suggest, Juliana, for a first-time participant as a startup? What advice would you give?
Yeah, I would say, like this, it's like drinking from a hose. There is so much information. You need to probably figure out what is your goal, right? And Teresa, I don't know, like your in your company background, but it could be that, if you're in fundraising, that could be investments. If you're, I don't know, going through clinical regulatory process, that could be prioritizing FDA. And if it is fundraising, I see the answer here. I would go to reverse pitches for the companies that might be your potential acquirers, because there you will get an understanding of what they look for, and you can introduce yourself to the head of business development at that strategic. I would also go for there is AdvaMed Excel Leadership Series, which is a track specifically for Excel companies. And Excel companies, young companies that are not profitable yet. And most are even pre-revenue, right? There will be sessions with investors, not being like self-promoting, but there is a session that I love because I'm going to moderate it, called Do's and Don'ts of Fundraising, specifically where you will hear from Arboretum, Vinsana, Deerfield, and I'm missing someone else, help me here, and another VC. What does stand out? Why do they remember certain startups and don't remember others? What are the mistakes that they have seen? And these are like experienced people who've been doing MedTech investments for 10 plus years as venture capitalists. So I think that would be very helpful. I just, as a part of the panel prep, I did a couple of sessions with those panelists, and it's been interesting. I've been in MedTech for 20 plus years, but it's been insightful even for me, so, and Gilder, yes, thank you. Gilder is, with Jeff Pardo is also another VC very well known in the space. So
Thank you, Juliana. I did just want to jump in. Thank you for mentioning the Excel Leadership Seminar. That will take place on Tuesday morning. And it is, we call it our AdvaMed Excel Leadership Seminar. It is dedicated to programming for our small companies. So even as a non-member, it's a great place, non-member small company, it's a great networking opportunity to come and meet Excel companies, hear more about AdvaMed, The focus this year of those sessions under that are going to be about fundraising. There's an angel investing session and then another one on alternative fundraising options. So it's a good, we kick it off Tuesday morning with a networking breakfast and then goes into several sessions. So it's a really good educational opportunity as well as networking opportunity.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Juliana. Thank you, Beth. Juliana's super active on LinkedIn, so encourage all of you to connect with her. And she's a true champion of AdvaMed and the MedTech Conference. So we're very grateful to have your partnership and collaboration. We're here on the half hour, and it's really to get to the star of the show, which is everything around our education and speakers. So with that, I'll introduce Nancy Creel, who has been working tirelessly with our various committees over the last several months and has a lot to share with you.
I do. Thank you, Erin, and reiterating the thanks to you, Juliana, for sharing your really valuable and unique conference insights with all of us today. You really have incredible insight into the value of the event for really companies of all sizes, but your unique perspective around small companies is appreciated. So thank you for all your support. We have recently officially launched the MedTech Conference program, and I'm thrilled to share some of the highlights with you today. We have opportunities for attendees to access high quality education at the conference that are vast in their content, they're varied in their formats, and I think that's part of what makes this conference and its education in particular so dynamic. We offer panel sessions and company presentations that really center around hot topics and pressing issues that are of particular relevance to the industry, and these are led by the industry's top experts. The panel sessions are also inclusive of our CEOs Unplugged series that a few people have mentioned already. That CEOs Unplugged series takes place on the MedTech campus. These are moderated discussions among CEOs or C-suite executives discussing some of those really important business relative conversations, issues around artificial intelligence, digital transformation, mergers and acquisitions, patient outcomes, various investment strategies, et cetera. So it's a really high profile stage that I encourage you to visit. Keynotes this year, you can come to expect high profile speakers covering some issues of real relevance for the industry right now. Given all that's going on in the world, I think this is going to be a really compelling year for keynote conversation. We'll get more into that in just a few minutes. In terms of special programming, we do have some programming for particular audiences. It's built around those who are interested in market access issues, both domestically and globally, and patient advocacy. Google sponsoring a program for the first time this year around the use of AI for some regulatory efficiency building. And then we've already spoken a bit about that AdvaMed Excel Leadership Forum that is really open to small companies' participation. So some targeted, really important special programming. And then for our investor community, we have the Startup Pitch Competition that is new this year. We're very excited about bringing that to you on Sunday. The corporate reverse pitches throughout the week, as well as additional company presentations. So lots for our investor community. When we look to the next slide on educational themes, I think we have some really exciting themes that are spanning everything from the regulatory and reimbursement environment for digital health and data access to connected health and healthcare at home, a really hot topic in that market access space, global medtech strategy, diagnostic trends. We know that coming out of the pandemic, much of the focus around diagnostic trends is changing. So we're excited to bring you some of those new and emerging themes. Our global regulator session is always a really well-attended session. And this year we have more global regulator participation than we've ever had in previous years. So those are really dynamic conversations, as well as some of the more business investment focused content around mergers and acquisitions. If we move on to the next slide, the patient pavilion, this is one of my personal favorite stages at the conference. We feature inspiring interviews between MedTech executives and really the brave patients whose lives have been dramatically changed by innovations of the medtech industry. The content on this stage provides a really important reminder of the powerful impact of this industry and the why of what we do every day. So I highly encourage you to visit this stage. You're not going to want to miss these patient stories. If we take a look at the next slide, we are thrilled about our speaker lineup. We've really locked in some excellent speakers. This is just a sampling, of course, but to highlight a few, David Nawalny of NVIDIA is back with us this year for the second year in a row. This year, he's joining the Pulse of the Industry session, and it's always a highly anticipated session. So we look forward to his perspective on sort of those NVIDIA and MedTech partnerships, collaborations, and things that are emerging to continuously drive innovation. Nick Farrell of ResMed will be joining us on the CEO's Unplugged stage. He'll be discussing some innovation opportunities in the industry. Anthony Tran is of the California Department of Public Health, joining us for the first time this year to discuss emerging themes in diagnostics. And then we have Ashley McAvoy joining us again this year representing Insulet, leading Insulet, and to speak on the use of AI for capturing value. We have many more listed here, and I certainly encourage you to check out our agenda that's live online to see all the other really exciting names that we have that have committed to the program this year. If we take a look at some specific sessions that we're excited about, I want to flag just a few. I won't read through all of these, but we certainly know that the current environment, geopolitical environment, and has some supply chain implications, and that's creating some challenges for the industry. And I think this is going to be a really compelling conversation around some of the innovative solutions that organizations are utilizing to in order to mitigate some of those issues. We have a big tech and med tech sort of convergence session around ways that different types of companies, traditional big tech, consumer tech, is collaborating now with the life sciences industry. And we're very excited about those conversations. I've already mentioned the regulator perspectives component. With cybersecurity, it's always a hot topic, and we're very excited about this year's cyber session. So again, I encourage you to check out the agenda online and see all the exciting content that we will be featuring in October. Right now, we've got lots of speakers that are rolling in and confirming their participation. So if you've checked it once, come back and check again in a week, because you'll see the evolving nature and where these sessions are starting to, how these sessions are really developing and finalizing for you. You may have seen our announcements in the last week about some of the exciting digital health and particularly AI content at the conference this year. This includes a special program on AI for regulatory efficiencies. Again, that Google program that I mentioned, taking place on Sunday. We'll be releasing more information about that program soon. Panel sessions will be covering a wide variety of topics in this space, from AI-powered healthcare to Gen AI, those collaborations, wearables, connected care. So lots of really great, exciting content. And again, as you can see from this graphic that we pushed out last week, some really, really notable names that we're excited to hear from. There will be more announcements that look like this coming over the next few weeks, covering various content themes. So do stay tuned, because you'll be seeing more that looks like this. And we're excited to be sharing these exciting updates with you. Okay, our keynotes. We're very, very excited to be on the cusp of fully announcing all of our keynotes. But I can certainly share some details today. Zimmer Biomat will be leading a conversation on Monday with a true visionary, and that announcement will be coming next month. So stay tuned there. On Tuesday, during our keynote luncheon, we are thrilled to welcome Dr. Matthew Lundgren. He is the Chief Scientific Officer for Health and Life Sciences at Microsoft. And he'll be engaging in a conversation with some key leaders in the medtech industry. So we'll be looking forward to announcing some of those speakers as well. It's going to be an incredible panel. So do keep your eye on that. And then on Wednesday, we are thrilled to announce that FDA has committed to joining us again this year in San Diego. Dr. Michelle Tarver, FDA CDRH Director, will be back with us for the town hall bringing members of her leadership for discussion with the audience in the keynote space. That will be a keynote breakfast. So again, official announcements coming very shortly, but you get a little teaser here, first to hear about some of these for this group. So why don't we go ahead and jump to networking? Lots of networking opportunities from start to finish at the MedTech Conference. We mentioned the new startup competition on Sunday. We're very excited about that new edition. We also kick things off with a global MedTech Welcome reception that really does provide an energizing start to the week. And we hope you'll plan to join us because it's in a phenomenal location this year. I think you'll really enjoy it. On Monday, something new. We have the MedTech Campus booth crawl with activations at various booths, just providing a little bit more interactive opportunity. I think it's going to add quite a bit of energy to an already lively reception on that first night of the full program. That night after the reception, though, is open. And so we want to flag that. I think Erin already mentioned this, but flagging once again that if you have any targeted networking or dinners, additional connections that you want to make, Monday is a really great night for you all to do that. Again, that's for general attendees. We look at Tuesday, we have our Chairman's Cheers reception in the MedTech campus, and then we have a CEO reception followed by open to all full access registrants, MedTech Live, at a really incredible new space in San Diego. Eve is an indoor-outdoor space, elevated event space that overlooks the bay. That night is going to be a lot of fun, and we'll look forward to you joining us there. And on Wednesday, we will close things out with a networking lunch in the MedTech campus. We'll be celebrating yet another outstanding event in San Diego and officially launching then our preparations for 2026. So with all of that, I hope that gives you some motivation to review the agenda that was just announced, get in and log in, or get in and register before the early bird deadline of Friday. Please feel free to pop any additional questions in the chat. Be happy to answer them. And otherwise, I'll go ahead and turn it back to Erin.
Great. Thank you, Nancy. I think before I head on to the next section, we will take a question. I think this one is for you, Beth. What's the difference between company presentations and our new startup pitch?
Sure. The startup pitch is going to take place on Sunday afternoon at 3 o'clock. We will be, and that process is closed. We have closed that application process, but we will be, we have a sponsor for it, MedTech. They're a membership organization that focuses on advancing military medicine. So they will be selecting 15 companies to pitch, and they're short pitches, about 8 minutes, and the winner will receive a $10,000 prize, thanks to MedTech. And we had some criteria for these companies as well. They couldn't have raised over $10 million. They had to have some military application of their technology. The company presentations they are still open. There's not an award associated with those. Those are typical presentations that you see at a lot of other MedTech small company investor conferences, where the CEO of a startup or small company is allowed to get up and tell their story, present their technology, explain what they're looking for in partnerships and investors, their regulatory pathway, and so on. And so those will take place on our Innovation Pavilion stage in the exhibit hall. There is a presentation fee associated with those. We do review all the applications and make selections just because we have limited slots. But I hope that explains. And if you still need clarification, you can type it in the chat and I will be glad to do that.
Great. Thank you, Beth. And what I would add to that is that all companies participating in an official capacity will also be featured in our company listing online that will be available next month as well. So there really is marketing power that goes behind your participation at the MedTech Conference to ensure you're getting visibility before people arrive to San Diego. So speaking of people arriving to San Diego, I wanted to share with you an attendee list preview. We are mindful that obviously we're not going to share personal information or names, but wanted to give you a sampling of the types of titles and companies that are going to be represented, from the large med techs to the investor community to small companies, universities, with different titles around regulatory strategy, scientific affairs, head of medical technology, technical program manager, chief engineer. We have the head of JLabs Korea joining us. So this is a good representation. So I wanted to share this with you because for anyone that registers by July 31st, you will your title and your company will also be featured on our attendee list that we will start to circulate next month, so people can start to see who's going to be there, self-identify. But I am very inspired to see so many folks represented on this list, both from a member company perspective, from our partners at MedTech Europe. It's really impressive to see some of this come together. And yes, of course, this deck will be shared following the presentation as well as the recording. So we encourage you to share it along. So with that, we wanted to provide you, we have a little over 10 minutes left. We still probably have time for a couple more questions, but I wanted to give you a checklist to ensure that you have what you need to make a decision. So we talked about, Nancy walked you through our networking events. And really the design of the event is pretty easy once you land in San Diego. All of our hotels are within less than, it's basically across the street, all 6 hotels. And we really make it easy on you. You can lock in exclusive, the lowest group rates possible. We make sure that your booking is secure and with a trusted provider. So it's really easy. You can book your housing right at the same time as you register for the conference. So that would be my suggestion. We do have one hotel already sold out, but we definitely have a lot of hotels. You can even see the Hilton right here in this photo. Everything is across the street or almost connected to the convention center. So as far as San Diego, I believe many of you have been there. The weather, I've probably been there 20 times in my career. It's always sunny and 70 in San Diego. It really is awesome. And we'll make sure that we offer networking in the sun when we can. But it really is easy to get downtown from the airport. And so many amazing restaurants and places to host dinners once you arrive. So just to reinforce what you can expect and who's at the conference, we really believe that this is a great destination for MedTech teams. Where we've seen a lot of success is companies who operate internationally at a global scale. They meet, and use the MedTech Conference as a hub for their internal teams, as well as, connecting with clients and different partners. And we really hope that this presentation has been helpful on why you should consider attending. So as far as urgency this week, Thursday, July 31st is our early bird deadline. That is the lowest rate available. So we suggest that you book your registration by then. Please note that, for small companies and for AdvaMed members, there is a lower rate. But we really tried to do right by companies this year in particular to ensure that the rates were consistent with last year before early bird. So we encourage you to take a look. Everything's organized, hopefully easily on the website, and you can register with a couple clicks. So you all found your way here, which means you're getting our announcements and our emails, which is great. LinkedIn is always your best bet. As far as late breaking news, Nancy mentioned some of our announcements around Microsoft and Google just last week. We're to the point where we're announcing something almost every day. Thanks to our awesome marketing team. But that really is where you're going to see all the companies and the speakers start to pop up and kind of celebrate their participation. So we encourage you to use one of these 2 QR codes. We also have a section on our website, if you're more comfortable there, that has the same updates. It's called our event update section. You can find it in the navigation really easily. This is your one-stop shop. You can share this with colleagues who might not have gotten our emails yet, but it really gives you everything you need as far as news coming out of the conference. So where are we? I said 70 days, but we're actually at 68. So early bird deadline is on Thursday, July 31st. And as Beth mentioned, August really is our activation month, when our attendee list goes live, our company list goes live, and then of course our partnering system goes live. Just like kind of a dating platform, you get out what you put in to that platform. So we want to make sure that you have all the tools you need, and we will have a separate webinar for that as well. And then the housing deadline is in September, but if I had one recommendation, it would be to book your housing early while you can, and then working towards October for showtime. I did want to kind of give you, just to give a little lay of the land. Nancy spent a lot of time talking about different session and panel types, but just wanted to share with you what the system looks like if you were to go to our website right now. It's organized by tracks and then categories, and then there's also a search feature. So definitely recommend that you familiarize yourself there. That really helps you with the justification and who's already locked in to speak and attend the conference. And then, of course, to really make your session plan, you would use My MedTech when that opens next month. So as far as a checklist, I've gone through a good amount of this, but I think people like a checklist like I do. So encourage you to register your team, share this webinar or our latest email with any colleagues who might be thinking about attending. And really start your planning to make sure that you're getting maximum ROI and you're not figuring things out when you arrive on site. And we appreciate that you spread the word and tell us what you're excited about on LinkedIn. And we also have a great marketing toolkit available online. And also anybody that registers automatically gets, it's called Snowball, but it's a sharing tool. You've probably seen it, that you can, with a few clicks, you can really talk about your participation at the conference. So because I knew we'd be sharing this deck, I went ahead and put some links in here to help you get to housing, registration information, our schedule, our event updates, and of course, LinkedIn. And so I wanted to offer people a code, and maybe we could put it in the chat, but to thank you for attending today. We wanted to give you a little bonus. It's an additional discount of 10%. It's called Friends 10. If you've already registered, we encourage you to share that with a colleague who might not have registered. We can't apply discounts retroactively, but we really wanted to say thank you for your support and your participation. And we have 7 minutes left. We still have our amazing colleagues here. If there's any more questions, we'd be happy to take them. Or AdvaMed staff who are on the line, is there anything we might have missed in our overview today?
Erin, one question.
Sure.
We've been keeping up a lot with the Q&A, but how many years of experience are considered for early career for registration? I know we covered that earlier, but it's 5 or less, correct?
It is 5 or less, yes. And so there's just a bit of qualification to ensure that you work in the medtech space based on kind of your online profile, and we'll ensure that you get that access. That's a great question.
There was also a question about investor registration. I'm not sure if we have any investors on this call, but I will just highlight, we do have a process for complimentary registration if you are a qualified investor. We do have on our website what we consider qualified investors. You need to be part of an official angel group, part of a venture capital firm, private equity firm. We do verify this through PitchBook, LinkedIn, firm websites. So we are pretty strict about this. It's not for service providers that may also say they're investors. We're pretty strict about wanting to get quality investors there to meet and interact with our small companies.
All right. Well, wanted to say thank you to everybody. Hopefully you found this valuable. We do have a team here. If you have any additional questions, feel free to reach out. We encourage you to visit our website. We also have a chat online if you have additional questions. And we really appreciate your time. We understand how precious that is. And we look forward to hosting and seeing you in San Diego. Thank you all.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.